Hi friends, joy and peace to you all. I'm so glad and delighted to meet you all through this video. Today I'm going to share with you something about the stages of human life. When we reflect or discuss about this particular theme, the stages of human life, we could go about it into different dimensions. The first one is the external features of the stages of human life. The second one is the internal features or the characteristics of the stages of human life. First, the external features of the stages of human life. It begins in pregnancy and continues through infancy, early childhood or toddler stage, later childhood, puberty, early adolescence, adulthood, middle age, and the senior stage. These are the stages a person goes through and grows and gets matured. We all of us participate in it and witness this. Participating in different stages of this life, we become perfect and mature. This is about the external features of the stages of life. And coming to the second stage, which is very, very important for our holistic growth, which is the internal features and the characteristics of the stages of human life. Let's derive some aspects of teachings from a wonderful person, a scientist, an anthropologist, a religious, namely Taylor de Chardin. He gives us 4 important aspects for the stages of human life. The first one is lithosphere. The second one is biosphere. The third, noosphere. The fourth one, omegasphere. These terms may seem little complicating and difficult to understand, but we can derive the truths and the meanings and make it very simpler for our understanding. They are: every human person goes through a vegetative state, an animal state, a human or rational state, religious state, and spiritual state. These are the different stages a person goes through internally. First one is vegetative state. It is about dependency. As a human person, we depend on somebody, we depend on something, we depend on many things of our life. Dependency is basically a good nature. But as we age, as we grow, we need to mature in our dependency. From our dependency, we need to grow to independency. From our independency, we have to grow to interdependency. So these 3 aspects, dependency, independency, and interdependency, are essential for our better living. Each has to be in accordance with our own way of living. They have to fit in accordance with our own words and deeds. We cannot be always depending, and we cannot be always independent, and we cannot be always interdependent. Each has to play its own role in its own requirement. I hope we understand well. Second type, animal stage. It's about a sensual contentment. We all of us have 5 basic senses: sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touching. In an animal stage, we try to satisfy these senses. Usually animals try to satisfy their own senses, especially eating and procreating. We as human persons try to satisfy our senses for our happiness, for our pleasure. We like to see things that really makes us pleasurable. We like to hear things that really gives us contentment. We like to taste and smell and touch that gives us contentment. This is something about our animal stage. It is necessary, it is really necessary for our happy sustenance, happy livelihood. This is about the animal stage. But we cannot remain only satisfying our own senses alone. We need to go beyond from our animal stages to the further stage. which is human stage. Human stage or rational stage is about excelling in our professional skills. For example, learning a language, or learning an art, or learning a job. It's about our rationality. The human stage, we try to excel in our skills, in our talents, in our achievements, and we want to make ourselves discovered in the society. Making self-discovery, enterprise, adventurousness, all these things come into this human state. We make ourselves somebody, a better person, worthy of something, excelling in something, skillful in particular field, professional in particular task. That's what about human state. So nice, happy. But we cannot stay only excelling in our own selves, in our own skills, in our own talents. We need to go beyond to the next stage, which is religious stage. Religious stage is for faith and morality. Every religion, every kind of religion gives us faith and morality, which is the basis and foundation for our happy living, a disciplined life, a life which really makes us happy and others happy. If my religion, if my faith, if my morality, or I cannot call it even morality, if my teachings of the church, or teachings of the religion leads me to make someone unhappy, then my life is questionable. My maturity in my religious stage is questionable. And we cannot remain here just knowing about God, or learning about morality, or learning about the religion, learning about the discipline, and making a life perfect. We cannot remain here itself. We need to go beyond to the other stage, which is spiritual. See, in the vegetative stage, we were reflecting about the dependency. In the animal stage, we were discussing about the sensual contentment. And in the human stage or the rational stage, we were discussing about self-discovery, self-excellence, mastery over our own professionalism. And in the religious stage, we were discussing about our own life disciplined by faith and morality given by the religion. But we cannot make a life complete, a whole, perfect with all these stages alone. All these stages are the means of the perfection. Then where does the perfection rely? It is the last stage, which is called spiritual stage, and for those who don't believe in God, called the wisdom stage. In the spiritual stage, I go beyond myself. I nourish my soul. I nourish my soul with the virtues of goodness. These virtues of goodness may come in the form of forgiveness, charity, acceptance, understanding, and whatever we find as something so precious. Here, the soul is so happy to give something to the poor who has nothing. The soul is so happy to forgive who has offended us. The soul is so happy to perfect the self. Let's examine our conscience. Where do we stay? Maybe by physique, by age, we are growing, we are aging. But do we really pass through these stages of the perfections? Some may be 50 years old but still remaining in the vegetative stage. Some may be 90 years old but still remaining in the stages of sensual contentment, which is animal stage. Some may be just 7 years old or 10 years old. They would have reached already the spiritual stage. Let's examine our conscience. Where do we really stay? Do I still depend on persons, things, places and remain in the vegetative stage? Or do I still work on fulfilling or feeding my own senses? Do I still work on satisfying just for the sensual contentment? and remain living in the animal stage? Or do I just work on my self-discovery, self-excellence, mastery over the things, just making my own self professional? Or do I go beyond all these three stages, passing and learning from these stages? Do I make my life self-disciplined, morally disciplined, and religiously well equipped? Or do I try to enter the door of spiritual stage or the wisdom stage where I really live my life happily? We can divide these stages in simple three frames. The first one is body, the second one is mind, the third one is soul. The vegetative stage, animal stage fall into body. We just give importance to our body, bodily natures, bodily longings, bodily requirements. The other stages of life, like human stage or rational stage or religious stage, come into mind, where we feed our mind with a lot of teachings, with a lot of inputs for our personal excellence and for the excellence of our surroundings. And the other type of the stage, the spiritual stage or the wisdom stage, fall into our soul. The soul has to get nourished with the virtues, with the values of the goodness that really makes me happy and makes others happy. Where are we? We need to pass through all these stages and become perfect. No matter what is our age, no matter what is our growth, no matter what is our standard. All our place, all our persons, all our possessions must help us to pass through these different stages of human life. As we grow externally from pregnancy to senior stage, we also need to excel from our vegetative state to wisdom stage or spiritual stage or omega stage. Let's grow. Let's concentrate both on our external stages and internal stages. Let's grow collectively and become a holistic person. Our holistic nature will be expressed in our words and deeds, in our understanding, in our acceptance, in our forgiveness, in our sodality, in our solidarity, in our fraternity. Let's examine our life. Just let's think for a while. Maybe sitting alone and closing our eyes for a few seconds. Let's examine our own growth. Where are we? If we are down, let's process ourselves to reach the highest stage. If you're already reaching the highest stage, let us be thankful to God for this beautiful gift. Let's help others to reach the state of contentment, stage of perfection, stage of happiness. Dear friends, let's enjoy this life. This life is not just to exist, rather to celebrate with excellence, the excellence in spiritual stage or the wisdom stage. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for helping me to learn these things along with you. May God bless you all. Happy life. Bye-bye.